When I say the word slave, what is the first thing that you think of? The transatlantic slave trade? Here at Red Light, we see things a little differently. Any man or woman being dehumanized or put in a position or situation of exploitation is slavery. 1.2 billion children globally at risk is slavery. 140 million children living on the streets is slavery. Migrant labor smuggling is slavery.
5.5 million girls in child labor is slavery. 45.2 million refugees is slavery. 50,000 girls in ritual slavery is slavery.
Women at risk due to domestic violence, sexual violence, mutilation, honor killings, and abuse during pregnancy is slavery. 30 million people bought and sold into human trafficking is slavery. 5.6 billion people living on less than $10 a day is slavery.
261 million people in descent slavery is slavery. People forced into criminality is slavery. Women and girls forced into marriage is slavery.
21 million people in forced labor is slavery. 52.6 million people in domestic work with low compensation and abusive conditions is slavery. Exploitation in the supply chain is slavery.
145 million orphaned children is slavery. 300,000 child soldier is slavery. 11 million in bonded labor is slavery.
eNingizimu Afrika sinesibingelelo esithi sawubona. Esisho ukuthi ngiyakubona. I-Red Light umsebenzi wawo ukuthi uye kuwo wonke umuntu wesifazane, wonke umuntu wesilisa ovaleleke ekushushumbisweni bese basho ukuthi siyakubona.
Red Light comes from very humble and simple beginnings. In 2009, a group of us as young adults watched a documentary taken by 2 South African students on the human trafficking and child trafficking happening in Cambodia. We were shocked, speechless. We couldn't believe what was happening there. And just to top it all off, it was happening in our own country as well, in our own streets and in our own suburbs. After a lot of research and a lot of networking, meeting with the National Prosecuting Authority, SAPS officials, and everyone that we could just get information from, we realized that one of the biggest problems that we had as South Africans was unawareness. So that's where we started, going into rural schools during our lunch breaks, on weekends, whenever we had free time, just to try and make any difference that we could. We realized we had a lot of work to do, seeing as when we started there was no law against human trafficking, and we had very grim statistics to work with, such as 80% of human traffic victims are girls between the ages of 5 and 15. The average age of a human traffic victim is 12 years, and that 50% of child trafficking is in Africa. That is our continent. That is our problem. When I look back at the last 5 years, it's amazing how much Red Light has grown. We've expanded from prevention into rescue, restoration, as well as release. We're able to work with victims on a one-on-one basis and actually change the lives of people to live into their potential and dreams. We have dynamic teams and dynamic volunteer groups that are doing everything they can to change the face of human trafficking in our country.
Prevent is making people traffic-proof. We go to schools every Wednesdays, facilitating workshops on human trafficking, and we interact with the children on what human trafficking is, ways they could be human trafficked, and how they can protect their communities and family members from human trafficking.
Rescue is about creating a door for women at risk to walk through when they want to get out of bondage. Every 2 weeks we go out on the streets and we build relationships with these women. We believe that through these relationships we can create a door that they can walk through into freedom. A few weeks ago, one of the women said before we came out, they had no one who listened to them. Now they have a listening ear.
Our restoration program has been very interesting. We use a counselling skill called the person-centered approach, where we allow the ladies to be involved in their development and their restoration process. What they would look like on a practical level is we do one-on-one counselling with the ladies. We also do group counselling where we're able to discuss emotional, psychological, emotional things that unfortunately these girls are still having to deal with. Basic skills that we take them through, such as budgeting, computer literacy, English, and obviously then we go into the more advanced skills such as their sewing, crocheting, and all those things that they can use to develop and continue life afterwards.
Release is our Create Freedom project where we assist former sex workers human traffic victims in creating economic opportunities for them to live sustainably.
In the project, the ladies create jewelry from fallen bark for the Ruth range. The ladies soak the wood overnight and then cut it and sand it into heart shapes. The ladies use bark that is useless and unwanted and turn it into something of beauty. Each of the items is handmade by the ladies in the project. This is made by Gubus, and the proceeds of the selling of the items go towards the ladies and the running of the project.
Le project then yenze ushintsho olukhulu empilweni yami ngani ngoba sengiyakwazi ukuthi le mali engenza lana ngisapothe umndeni wami ngikhokhe nasesikoleni ngenze izinto eziningi.
We dream of a world where slavery is a history lesson, not a living reality. This is what we would do with the money invested in our project. We would expand the skill set of our rescue traffic victims. We would expand our product ranges. More skills means more ability to produce more products. We would expand our retail partnerships as more products mean more opportunity to retail and reach a broader target market. And we would expand the number of women in our project. A sustainable demand for products means higher income and the ability to invest further in more women for more freedom.
Where could this dream go? How many hearts could be healed? How many lives could be restored? How many families could be impacted?
In the last 5 years, Redline has had the privilege to witness many changes within South Africa. We have taken awareness to over 50,000 children and community members. We've assisted the Department of Justice, the police force, as well as many other organizations in implementing the Trafficking in Persons Bill. We've assisted literally hundreds of sex workers and pimps get out of the industry and take themselves into shelters and rehabilitation centers. We've worked hands on hands with the ladies within our Create Freedom project, where we've had the privilege of seeing them restored and released. We look forward to partnering with you to allow us to expand the work we do and to change the lives of millions in South Africa.